Usually a silver package like this means something new, BoboVR Quest 3, but I feel like we've checked out everything, so I don't know what's in here. Should probably be cautious since I don't know what's in here about just cutting into it like this. It says it's BoboVR. That was close.
You gotta be quicker than that.
At least the post didn't destroy the box this time, because the last few have come through pretty rough. Jeez, Bobo really tapes it on me though. I think they like watching me try to open them. So this is the alternate edition of the D3 charging dock, but this one comes with less than the other one does, just when you think you're out of tape. So we've actually been using our D3 here for a while, but this one is the bare minimum, the one you're gonna pay less for. Still comes with your sticky pads to stick it down. Still basically the same dock, but now you get their wirelessly charging batteries and their wirelessly charging battery doors without the grips. So potentially if you have your own grips you want to use with it, if you already had the Bobo grips, especially if you already had a 100-watt charging brick because of the BD3, battery dock 3, man, these acronyms are a bit much, then this is the edition of dock that you might actually want to get. It's cheaper, but it just doesn't come with nearly all the things that you would need if you were just buying it outright. It's so weird how their grips have the part that magnetically hooks, but not the doors. I guess really it's the batteries that have the magnets. So you don't necessarily need that, but I guess that means it's time to do some testing with other sets of grips and see if you could use this with all kinds of grips. Here's the two different boxes so you can see the amount of size and what it would have looked like, what it would have came with it. I've still got their 100-watt power brick handy. I'm just gonna plug this thing right in. One thing that I've noticed about the other dock, I don't know if it's because there's two pads now instead of one, but I do find that unlike most of the other BoboVR accessories I had before, I'm finding the padding, the sticky pads, aren't staying on the dock as well. Maybe because there's two and I'm scooting around, I'm doing different things, but it seemed like when it came to these guys, one was on there and it was always on there. But with there being the two, I have found multiple times I've had them unhook, or I've even had them like peel over on each other, and I've just found I've had to keep redoing these more than I'm used to with any other Bobo docks I've gotten used to. It also could just be, there's a lot more surface area with a lot less sticky. I mean, you look at how much the sticky covers on here, it's a good portion of the surface area, where with this now, it's really just two across this huge panel. So, as I said, this one is more for people who already had some of the components. So the big question is what components will work with this? So I'm gonna go grab a bunch of sets of grips. We're gonna play around with these with different battery doors, different ones, and see which all ones can charge and which won't, and give us an idea of who this dock is for. So the first set of recharging grips I got that I really liked, the Aubika ones. The way these work is there's a battery door built into the actual grip. You can see a little bit of it from the backside right there. So the question is, if you have the Aubika grips, but you really want this dock, you want the wireless charging, could you just take Aubika's battery out, replace it with the BoboVR? In theory, Bobo comes with their doors that have these little notches on them, but we won't be able to use those with these grips. So what I wanna know is, will these just snap in and actually work? Feels like something about the battery size and shape is making us not want to make contact and actually close. Oh, you're so close to working. It's just getting right in there, but it's not locking in place the way I want it to. And if you look at two of these, you can probably kind of see why. One looks a bit chunkier right there. Probably the contact point that's actually taking the wireless charging. One is thicker, so the battery doors made from the Aubika just may not actually work. It's so close through all this silicone though, you can feel that the magnets aren't quite strong enough to hold it perfectly in place. So it would be an exercise in finickiness of trying to get it to land and stay there. Oh, it keeps undoing. I was really hoping that would work, but yeah, it looks like you can even see where trying to stick that battery on where it's interacting, and it is that high point. It scratched it up a little bit right there. If that doesn't work, then that means the Maeckers are probably gonna be in the same situation, because they work extremely similarly to the Aubika grips. Meaning, unfortunately, you probably won't be able to use any other set of recharging grips with the Bobo dock. Oh man, I can feel it's like just shutting out enough. Yeah, this one's even more particular. I can't even get close with it. I can't even get it to go lights on, and it definitely will not lock. Ah, disappointing. and that's really mangling the battery right there. It's just that this battery has this outer edge that you can now see is all messed up. Otherwise, these kind of grips could have worked with it. So basically, we're concluding right now, other recharging grips, not gonna work with a Bobo dock. Battery door, the way they're designed just won't quite fit there. But maybe just plain silicone grip covers could. Let me see if I can find a set. So I grabbed a couple things here so that we can see exactly what's going on. So one is just a stock Quest battery door. So if we try to put this on here, we can see that it just doesn't want to align. Something is basically in the way. The battery here, if I really force it, I can kind of get it closed, but look what's happening to the battery door. It's bowing out really hard there. And then even getting it back off is gonna be a challenge now because I shoved it in there so hard. Could it be that it's just that little tab that's in the way though? Don't try this at home. Tab removed. Better, but not perfect. So basically what it seems like from looking at this is that the new Bobo doors, they swell out just slightly from the originals, leaving space for the new battery to stick out just a little bit, and that's why they close so perfectly. So here, I have a set of Maecker Grips that actually come in two pieces. One piece that would replace your battery door, leaving a hole, and this actually works really well, because you can see it's left room for the part that sticks out now. The problem being, if I was to install the rest of the silicone, there's so much on the back of here, this wouldn't go in and close like it's supposed to. There's supposed to be room in there for this to go in and hold the battery shut. So really, what we've learned is that this setup is meant for Bobo grips. They didn't make this dock so that, oh, if you have any other kind of grips, you can kind of make this work. Really, this is just for people who had already bought just their grips, want the dock, don't want to pay for the grips again, but want everything to work together. You could probably get by with a few sets of grips out there and still use this because it will charge through the silicone just like it does in the Bobo, but it would have to be sets of grips like we tried before that are just completely silicone that would still be okay with the original battery door, and they would just slip over the entire controller and basically just be a silicone cover. They'd have to be ones that don't have a battery door on them. They'd have to be just a really simple full silicone cover, maybe with a hand strap attached to that silicone. And then in that case, they'd slip right on with the magnets, they'd still charge just fine. So it means there's a few people that might have those grips, or if you wanted those grips, you'd have a few options with this, but really, the whole purpose of this is the Bobo grips, and that's what it's for. Especially the fact that they think that you already have a strong enough power brick for this thing to charge as well. We talked about it in the other video, overall what I thought on the dock. We'll do a quick overrun here just once more for those of you who joined and haven't watched that one yet, but we'll leave a link at the end of this video to that as well. Basically, the BoboVR charging dock is the best of the Quest 3 charging docks. That's not saying a lot. Among all of the Quest 3 charging docks, a lot of them try to use these prongs on the front, and the prongs get blocked by either different facial interfaces, they just slip off when it's sitting there. They're very finicky. Unfortunately, I still feel like with the way they designed these holes down here, the whole headset's just kind of smooth and round. It doesn't really lend itself to like dropping into something and locking into place hard. Ultimately, no matter what charging dock you get, you're kind of always having to do this number when you put it down, trying to find the place and hook it in. So the Bobo's not immune to that, but it works about as well as any of the other ones. The grip charging is really what you're buying the dock for, probably the fact that you just never have to worry about it. And then also, if you didn't already have the dock there, the fact that you can just toss your battery in and it's charging too. So those are really the reasons you're buying the dock in the first place. The idea of buying it to use some other set of grips for it though, really, as you see, it's pointless. So it means that if you're someone who already got a set of the Aubika Grips, the Maecker Grips, and you absolutely love them, is this dock really something you need? Probably not. Honestly, if you have the BoboVR S3 Pro, you're probably better off just getting a dock like this with a couple extra batteries, because yeah, it's nice to have the headset on here and know that it's charging, but really, if you have 2 or 3 batteries, what you do is at the end of every play session, you just swap out your battery, get the other one on the charger, and your headset's gonna be ready to go the next time you go to play. And if you really need to have a 100% headset and 100% battery, the next time you go to play, you just swap this and go right into playing. Then you've got a fresh battery and a full headset. So I think that the dock is good for people who are new to it that really want to just get one battery, just get the dock and all that, but know that you're still fighting with the finickiness of this. There are certain facial interfaces that we went over that aren't gonna work with this one. So ultimately, it's still a battle with charging docks, no matter which ones you look at. I feel like we're still in a state where they need to be the kind that we used to have that hooked onto the side with a magnet right here and charged through that. But the problem is with the Quest 3's battery life being so low, most people opt for a battery head strap, and then now you're having to deal with, well, I need to plug this in. Do I unplug this and switch to the charger? Is there a splitter that's reliable? There doesn't seem to be. We're not there yet as far as a perfect dock, but of what we've got, the Bobo's what I'm sticking with for now. But what do you use out there? Do you have the original Meta 1 and you just use that all the time because you don't play the headset long enough to need a battery beyond it? Or if you actually had yours work, the original Meta battery strap would reverse charge from the dock through into it, so you'd pick the whole thing up and it would all be charged, although there was all kinds of problems with that, you probably remember. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking down below, but I want to say thank you once again for being here with me, and I'll see you in another reality.